talk about yarns. So, as you can probably hear, I am sick. I have some kind of common cold, or what is it called? And I've been sneezing and coughing and all the fun stuff. But that means I have a little bit of time today to come and talk to you guys. So I was thinking that we could have a little chat while we are sipping on some hot tea or coffee and flashing my stash. I am a tiny bit afraid that some of you might judge me because of the amount of yarn I have, but I still feel that I am quite intentional with my knitting, and there is plenty of yarn that I already have projects and I'm gonna use it. So it's not like there's all the yarn that I don't want to use. There is plenty, and there is plentiful of projects. Maybe today's word is plenty. I like it. We have plenty. That sounds nice. So grab yourself something to drink. I have rooibos tea, and let's get into it. First, I want to mention a couple of things. I don't know what this is, but we'll go with it. I am part of the challenge that is in Finnish. It's called 5 vaatteen vuosi, which means like 5 clothes per year. And it is meant to be like this sustainability challenge where you can only buy 5 new items in a year, which makes sense. And it is thought to be the guideline for sustainable consumption. So I think it might be easy. Last year I think I was at 4 to 6 new clothes. So I think I'll get there quite easily. But how it relates to yarn is that I am thinking that I will count all the new yarn that is like sweater quantity. I will also count them as a new garment, as a new piece in my wardrobe. So I think I'm not gonna buy new yarn a lot this year, which was already one of my points in my knitting intentions video. So I'll be working mostly with my stash this year, and that said, there is plenty of yarn to work with. I think I cannot even go through all of my stash this year. But yeah, in the challenge there is exception to the rule, which is second-hand clothes. They don't count to the 5 new clothes rule. And I was thinking that second-hand yarn might be also the same thing. So I can buy yarn for a project if I buy it second-hand. And I have some exciting examples of that later on in this video, because I was a bit sad because I was sick, and I was a bit annoyed because I hate being sick and my chronic pain gets a bit worse when I'm sick. So I shopped a bit of yarn. But it's all wonderful and beautiful yarn, and I shopped it second-hand. That actually made me think that I might do that more often, because there was plenty of very nice yarn offered second-hand. It's not always just the one you want, but there is a lot of beautiful yarns available secondhand. That is part of my knitting intentions and part of my plans this year. I'm gonna go and see how much of this I can erase during this year. It's not gonna like be demolished or anything. I just want to see how much realistically I can knit during the year, and I think it might even affect my further yarn purchases, because I don't want to be a person who stores yarn for years before using it. It makes me a bit sad if it just sits in my yarn storage. So I would like to be in a situation where I would have a much smaller stash. I don't think that it's a bad thing to have stash. Some people work better that way. They just buy beautiful yarn and put it in their stash and knit something with it when they are inspired. But I think that for me it might be better to have a smaller stash, because I usually get very excited about specific yarns for specific projects, and I don't like color work that much. I like it on other people, but I don't like it that much on me. I don't wear it. I think it's beautiful, but it just doesn't go well with my personal style. So there is no place for me to use the odd skeins or something like that. They are not inspiring to me. So that kind of drives me to buy new sweater quantities more often. And I think that might be my future when I have busted my stash. And I might just try and do that. I just buy yarn for a specific project. I don't think that I'll get to the point where I will just buy yarn and cast it on. Is that how you say it? Cast it on immediately, but maybe a bit closer to that. I don't know if it's even something I can accomplish, but yeah. This one will be a more chatty episode, so buckle up. There will be a lot of chit chat and maybe not so much value. I don't know. Maybe you like this. I will show you parts of my stash, and I probably won't talk about each yarn specifically, because that would take me trillion billion years, because there is a lot of it. But maybe a bit about what yarns they are and what projects I have in mind. And I don't know, maybe you are interested in how I have organized it, and maybe a bit of a scrappy projects for the even and odd skeins who are just hanging there. They are leftovers from other projects. And of course my new second-hand yarn. I'm so happy, and I'm excited to show that to you. Now some tea. My throat is a bit tingly still, but I'm getting a lot better than yesterday. My nose is a bit red, but you can call me Rudolph if you want. Please don't. I would probably be sad. So maybe we can start with an overview of the entire crafts closet, and then take each section and talk a bit more about the yarns in that section. If you like these kinds of knitting podcasts, please subscribe. We have plenty of yarn and plenty of knits and plenty of chit chat here. And if I didn't already say that, my name is Heidiy. I'm from Finland and I love knitting. And this is Guernsey Genser by Sandnes Garn. Please leave a comment already down below if you have some question or idea in mind, or just to say some encouraging words. They always make me super happy. And I gotta say, I actually quite like this as my background. Something in it makes me happy. Maybe it's the yarn, but I like the colors and that there is some kind of variation. It is a bit too busy, but so am I. It was so fun to read that some of you said that my podcast is calming, or that I have this calm energy, and that is the opposite of how I feel when I talk, because I'm usually quite fast paced. I have ADHD, I have a lot of thoughts and ideas, and you can probably already see that some of the plans for these yarns are different than the ones in my knitting plan videos. Knitting plans video. And that is because I have a lot of ideas, and lately I've been in the excitement and knitting inspiration kick, and I am just so excited about knitting and yarns and plans and patterns that I just can't sleep. I just go to bed and then I think of yarns and yarn combinations and colors and how to pair them with my outfits, and then I just can't sleep because I have so many ideas. And yeah, and I don't know how I got here, but let's get into the yarns straight away at 15 minutes of talking about other things. Yeah. So here are my sweater quantities of yarn in this shoe organization thing, and down at the bottom there is some merino yarns and knitting books and magazines, and the next one is thick sock yarns and merinos, and here is some rustic yarns and fluffies, and here's the fingering weight sock yarns. And yeah, that is the overview of the closet. I have no idea how to say overview. It is somehow very, very hard for my mouth to say it how I think it should be said. Beautiful yarns, beautiful colors. I love all the colors. I am at the point in my yarn stash where there is not that much yarn that I don't like color-wise. Some of them I think I'll need a cardigan or something for my kid, but especially these, they are just all up in my alley. So they are muted and they are neutral-ish or slightly cool, and they are quite mid-tone. So they're not super dark, but they are not like super light either. This makes me so happy. Why am I singing? I have no idea. But yeah, let's check the sweater quantities first. And don't mind the sudden quality change, I forgot to put this in 4K, so it was in HD before this, but let's get into the yarns. This first one is Cascade 220, and I'll be making a cardigan in this. I have thought about champagne cardigan by Petite knit, but there's also an alternative Franky cardigan. Up next is Sunday from Sandnes garn, and I'll be making a cherry dress with the Sunday yarn and thin silk mohair combined. I love the color of that. Next is knitting for olive merino and soft silk mohair, and I'll be making a Cardi jumper by Vert Knit, and it will be beautiful. I love it. The next one is Lumoava Silkki, and it will be a Kuutar top by Sari Nordlund. It's probably the most beautiful yarn I have. Next is some random merino that probably shouldn't be here. It's a leftover from the Guernsey. And in the next shelf there is plenty of stuff. The weird lilac-y blue is some cheap mohair from Adlibris, and this silk mohair is from Knitting for Olive, and together they will be the Robinson wrap cardigan. I'll be listing the color names and yarn names down below, so you don't have to worry. Here is some yarns I thought about pairing and marling together. Not sure what I will use them for. And the next round there is Petite, which is Finnish wool, and it's in this lovely gray color. I will share the projects that I am planning on them soon. And the next one is a thrifted yarn that is silk and wool. It is very soft and beautiful shade of brown. And next up there is heavy merino from Knitting for Olive, and that I am using for my Good Grandpa cardigan. Next up there is alpaca silk from Moku yarn. It is hand dyed and it is my favorite. It is so soft and silky and lovely. This is a leftover, and there is some Knitting for Olive silk, soft silk mohair also. It would match perfectly with the alpaca silk, but I'm not sure what I will do with that. But it's beautiful. It's in the Dusty Rose colorway, I think. Next up there is a couple of summer yarns. There is the Knitting for Olive Pure Silk in colorway Plum Rose. And this and the blue yarn will both be Y tops by Knitting for Olive. The blue yarn is Dusty Blue Whale, cotton-merino. So here are my sweater quantities in my beautiful stash. Maybe this is a bit too chaotic for you. You want all of the calm knitting podcast, and I'm giving you some utter chaos and very uncensored and unedited thoughts just streaming from my consciousness. Oh, we'll see. Maybe you like it, maybe you won't. Maybe it will get 2 views. It is okay. There's quite many sweater quantities, and I might have casted on a lot of things during these couple of days due to the fact that I have been sick. So I have been feeling pity on myself and a bit sad and annoyed, so I shopped the second-hand yarn and I wanted to cast on all the nice things, And yeah, but I have so many great plans. I'm gonna tell a couple of them that I am very excited about. One of them being this. I had a plan to make a cardigan from this. I have quite a lot of this. I think I have 6 skeins, which is quite a lot. Because this is DK weight, so it's 240 meters per 100 grams, and I am making a lento, aka lento in Finnish, because it is a Finnish word, lento, which means a flight. I'm gonna take part in Let's Lento Knit Along by Crea Bea, aka Rebecca, and Amy Palco. So I will be making a lento, and it is a nice project because it is done with very loose gauge, so I think I'll be able to squeeze mine from 3 skeins, and then I'll be left with another 3, and that I'll be making into a waffle loop skirt. So I'll have this beautiful brownish gray set of the lento sweater and waffle loop skirt that I can use together or separately. And I am very big on monochromatic outfits, so that will be just perfection. I have not knitted a skirt ever, so I will be making one, and I am actually very excited. So like very, very, very excited about that. That is how you say it. But yeah. And I will save one ball. It just flew away. This is not the best system. This is for shoes. So storing shoes, but what can you do when you have so much yarn and so little space? You must have creative solutions. I'm also very happy to inform you that I have continued my Cardi jumper, which is done in these beauties, and I'm so happy that I finally managed to continue because it is a beautiful design. I would also be very interested to have the Robinson wrap cardigan, but knowing myself, I know that I'm not into purling that much, so I'll probably give myself a break from purling all the time because it is a cardigan. So let's see when I'm in the mood for that. Have a sip. And let's move a bit. I don't know, what do people talk in these? Yeah, here. This looks like an atrocious amount of yarn, and it probably is to many people, but it has accumulated during many years, and yeah, I love all of these. I'm gonna show you a couple. Here is a beauty from Cascade Pom Pom, which is a Finnish brand. This is their Pom Pom Suoma Single, and it is Fin sheep wool, non-superwash, in the colorway Metsä, which means forest, and it is hand dyed and fingering weight. I love these beautiful labels. It's pretty and it's knitting, and there is tea or coffee and yarn and plants. And this is very beautiful shade of, oh, there's my hair everywhere. It's beautiful shade of green, and there is even pieces of nature in here left from the sheep and the wool. I have 2 plus an somewhat full skein. I use this in my Vertices Unite shawl, and this is what was left. So I have roughly 600 meters of this. So I don't know what to do with 600 meters of fingering weight yarn. And because this is Finnish wool, it is extremely warm, but it is also a tiny bit scratchy. So I cannot wear it around my neck or in my head. I am quite sensitive to scratchy yarns, so this is not for the sensitive areas. But I don't know. Leave me a comment and tell me what I should do. I'm trying to get this to focus and show the beautiful color even better. Now it's approximately right. It is so beautiful. So leave me a suggestion. What should this be? I also have tuku wool, which is also Finnish. Finnish wool. These are all tuku wool sock, which means it has some nylon or polyamide in it. And I have many colors because I had this when I started podcasting. I had a lot of ideas for designs. I designed some patterns, but lately I've been just knitting because I have so much to do. But yeah, I have many colors from the tuku wool, at least these. I like how they are so muted. I probably will make socks out of these, but I'm not very much in the sock mood right now. I just don't feel like knitting socks, so they are here when I feel like knitting socks. This is around sport weight, or I think it feels like heavy DK. It is quite oomph. I don't know how to say it. It feels quite thick, but it's got lots of air in it. These are also Finnish wool. I think these are woolen spun, so they are quite smooth and they don't itch that much, or they're not that scratchy. And they are from a Finnish dyer called Villavanttuut. And the shades are beautiful. These are mini skeins, and I want to be open. I got these as a gift from Villavanttuut because I designed a scarf for them. There is many different yarns in here, mostly skeins that are not completely full. This is a leftover from the Vertices Unite, because the yarn I had, the leftovers from another project, it just wasn't enough, so I had to buy another yarn. And I think this is Dansk Pesuld from Gerhold Ullspinneri. yeah, I actually like it quite a lot. It's supposed to be quite rustic, but I think it has some softness too. I bought this also second hand, not this one, but I just bought new yarn yesterday, second hand. This one in beige. Let's move on to the softies. So here we have some leftover mohairs. This is baby blue, white in a beautiful, beautiful ball. And then there is some gray. And this beautiful hand-dyed mohair from Aar. These I'm probably gonna use and pair with other yarns. I was thinking actually using this with this one and make it a bit darker and have some depth in the color. This is Drops Air. I have not supported Drops in a while. This is at least a couple of years old, and I can talk about that in another video why I don't support them, but I understand why some people do like their yarns and buy their yarns, and it is affordable, I give you that. But yeah, this is the Air. This is very soft, and that is probably why I bought it at first place. I did a sweater. I don't actually have the color here. I am knitting a sweater for my girl in the leftovers of my own sweater, but I have this and then another light gray and pink, and I also have green and tiny bit of black. But yeah, and then I also knit a sweater for my friend in this. But I have leftovers and I'm thinking this might be a good hood or balaclava, but I am afraid of the toddler look now. I might have to search a pattern that is more like a hood and not like strangling your face. I actually have my mind set on one. It has like a plaid around the edge and it is beautiful, and I think these might be suitable for that. It would at least be soft. Drops is not the most warming yarn, it's not super warm, but I think this mohair would give it a nice warmness too. That is that. Have a sip. My eczema is creeping through the makeup. Whoopsie. Then there is the merinos and sock yarn. And this is the heavier sock yarn. And here is the merino and merino blends. I don't know if I have that much to say about these. These are probably gonna be used for some accessories like these. I'm probably gonna use for mittens. This is gonna be for a sleepover. This is the Dusty Moose colorway from Knitting for Olive, the heavy merino. And here is a picture of a moose. They are not the same color. But yeah, this is West Yorkshire Spinners Illustrious DK. I knit a sweater, which I'm gonna unravel because circular yokes don't fit me. But I'm gonna knit another sweater from that. Probably something very simple with raglans or drop shoulders. Then I also have a Juliet from Derreron Natura, and I somehow don't like the yarn very much. I have used it for a beanie and a Sophie scarf. I just winged it from my head, so it's not actually a Sophie scarf, but it looks like it. And or Sophie shawl. It is the size is somewhere in the middle. Words are hard today. But yeah, I'm thinking that I will make a pair of mittens either for me or for my mom. There is still quite a bit left, so I might be able to squeeze in 2 pairs. But I don't like to knit mittens, so I don't know if I'll get the inspiration during this year or next year. We'll see. My heavier sock yarns are mostly Novita, which is Finnish brand. This is called Seitsemän veljestä, which means 7 brothers, and it is 200 meters per 100 grams. And this one has these tweed nubs, and I really like the look of tweed. So I bought this. I actually bought this so I can get a canvas bag, which was, if you buy a skein of yarn, you will get this beautiful canvas bag. And then I bought it. But then I put the bag in the wash and it shrink. So there is many colorways, but it mostly is the same yarn, or it is the thinner one, which is called Nalle. It is around sport weight, and Nalle means teddy bear. I have one ball of Regia tweed, which is also similar to Nalle, but it has these beautiful specks, and it is from Regia, not Novita. I made a beanie in this, but it drains all the energy from my face when I put it in my head, so I will make it into a sock, or socks, maybe 2. But yeah, I don't feel like knitting socks at the moment, so I'm not gonna do it. And when I say this, I'll probably cast on socks tomorrow, but we will see. 2 more to go. We have this lilac-y bag with lilac-y contents. So I have this weird colored yarn that I bought the KFO silk mohair to pair with, but I have more. There is plenty of this. It was some kind of budget buy, and this is like heavy fingering to sport weight. And then I have this, and I have no idea how I managed to buy so similar weird colored yarns. And this is even more light, and I think I might just look very green. No, green, not green, gray. Very gray when I put it around my face. But it's very hard to see the end result when you have the yarn in balls. So I would have to knit it up and then realize it doesn't suit me. But yeah, that is big merino from Drops, I think. So it is at least a couple of years old. I am thinking that I might either donate it or knit it into something for my daughter, or pair it with some kind of maybe gray, dark gray silk mohair, so there would be enough for another good grandpa cardigan. So I have to think, but that is why it's here on the bottom, so I can just put it away from my site and not think about it when I have all these beautiful yarns that I want to knit with. But towards the end of the year, I would like to have resolved the fate of these weird lilac-y yarns. Maybe they'll be something. Maybe I could even pair them together. No, that would not solve it. But yeah, that is my weird pile. It sits on the bottom row with some embroidery yarns. I am very bad at embroidery, but I would very much be intrigued to try visible mending. I have one sweater that is my husband's. It is very soft, some store-bought merino, and it has holes in it, like big holes. And I'm thinking I might try and do some pretty visible mending shirt out of it. It would be for me, not for him, because I have broad shoulders. It is men's sweater and I can still wear it. It is like perfect fit. So I might do that for me. It is like navy colored, so I'm thinking some soft blue tones maybe. Yeah, I like the idea. You can leave tips for embroidery down below. I actually do suck in it, especially when I have to make the ends beautiful in the backside. I just leave the mess in there. I think that is not how you're supposed to do it. And I have this beautiful flyaway here. Let them be. So I still have the thin sock yarns and then the second-hand yarns. Yes. This is my thin sock yarn basket. I'm just gonna show some of my favorites. This is from Mokku Yarn, which is a Finnish dyer, and they actually now started a page in English, so you'll probably be able to order their yarns if you are interested. This one was from the Advent. It was in 2021 actually. This one, and where is it? And this one. It also had a peachy one. Is it here? Yeah, the peach was in the Advent as well. It was very beautiful Advent, and this is sock yarn. Yeah, I also have blockers that are on the way. Then I have, this one is from Woolmy Ones, and they also are a Finnish hand dyer who has the most beautiful colorways. I think these are opal, and it is a basic sock yarn. I have used it quite a lot. Here is again the beautiful foresty green. It is one of my favorite colors, besides all these pinkish, brownish, grayish, purplish colors. But yeah, I love green as well. What else? What else? This one is also from Aara. I'm not sure about the base. This is, I think this is sport weight. And it is hand-dyed in Finland. You are probably very bored of me repeating that. Here is some miscellaneous, what is it called? Filcolana arvetta. Yeah, I have used it quite a lot. I just think I use my wool socks in my winter boots and when I'm sleeping and when I'm awake and even in the summer, and this just peels and felts quite quickly, so I'm not very sure about the quality and I wouldn't maybe recommend. This is Katia Concept Alpaquina and it is so soft. It is quite pricey, but it is soft. And I just think it was very, how do you say it? It lasted very long. I need socks and scrappy socks and a collar from two skeins, I think. And I still have the other one. This was the color I made those in. I still have 2 balls, I think. Yeah, no, 1 ball. I still have this left from those. So I bought another one. This is not my best color. It is too bright and light, but I will probably make some pretty socks from that. Yeah, there is many beautiful yarns, but as I said, I don't feel like knitting socks and definitely not feeling like knitting the super thin socks. If I knit socks, I will probably knit some thick ones or like DK. Then I also have some knitting books and magazines, but I probably won't show them here because this would be so long, like so long. And my husband might already be messaging me that when can they come inside, because our daughter is also home today because she was sick as well, so she couldn't go to daycare. But tomorrow she can already go, which leaves more work and recovery time for us. Oh, I almost forgot. Part of the summer yarns, I have Borgo di Paci Giza. This is just black, and I was thinking about making a summer top. And then I have some small quantities of cotton yarn, and then I have actually quite a lot of this. This is Tynn line from Sandnes, and I like the yarn, but it peels quite a lot, and the color is too light and bright again. As you can see, this is more my kind of color. It is muted. There is gray added to the color to make it more dusty, and this is bright, so it's bright and light. It is pastel-y. I wouldn't say this is a pastel color, but this is definitely is. It is too light and bright for my coloring, but luckily I have a 5-year-old daughter who enjoys everything pink. But they will stay there for a while. This might be getting to the needles soon, but I'll just put them back for a while. There is a couple of bags that are not like the most exciting yarns. There is some drops merino and drops alpaca with brushed alpaca that is unraveled from a cardigan, but I will make that into a cardigan for my daughter, so I'm just not gonna show it. It's not very interesting. But let's move into the interesting stuff, which means the new second-hand yarns. I have 3 finds that I found from the second-hand website. And the first one is Sandnes garn Mandarin Petite in white. And this is a nice basic summer yarn. It is quite soft cotton yarn. It is 100% cotton, I think. Yes. And it is a sport to heavy fingering. And as I said, I would like to knit the other loops, twist loop top, in a light colorway. And that is what this will be. 3 balls should be enough for my size. And I am happy that I found this yarn secondhand, so I don't have to buy new. And it just makes me happy that I know that the yarn that was not useful for someone else can be useful for me, so it doesn't go to waste. And when I bought the pattern from other loops and also the waffle loop skirt, I was a bit sad and disappointed at myself because I didn't check if the patterns were size inclusive, and they weren't. I understand because she isn't, in my understanding, the super big designer yet. Hi, it's Editing Heidiy here. I just checked and they have like 80,000 followers on Instagram, and they are quite well-known designer. So in my opinion, they should aim for size inclusivity. But I really do hope that they will branch out into more size inclusive patterns, because I think it is everyone's right to knit, and it is not fair to leave people out and not provide a pattern in their size. And it is unfair that I can just go and buy patterns, and basically I can be sure that every time I buy a pattern there is a size for me. I think that should be for everyone. Everyone should be able to buy a pattern that they enjoy and knit for themselves and not be limited by the sizing. So if I would have known, I probably would not have purchased the patterns, but now when I did, I will knit the patterns, and probably I will also write an email to the designer and request that they would be more size inclusive in the future. And yeah, I am also planning a video about inclusivity in the knitting world, because it is very important to me. And as a straight-sized and very white, thin human, I think I need to also carry my part to make the knitting community a bit more inclusive. Yeah, that was more of the heavier topic. I was thinking this would be a nice little chit chat, but I have a very heightened sense of morality, and I sometimes think a bit too much in black and white, and I am very hard on myself. I am a recovering perfectionist. It was actually interesting to hear Marlene to speak about this, because she had the perfectionism towards knits, and I have it toward every other thing in my life, but not so much in knitting, at least anymore. I don't mean to take the joy out of your knitting. I just think that the ethical and inclusivity areas and ecological sides of knitting are also very important, and you can also create beautiful things and create quite a lot of things while being conscious of these things, I think. I don't know, maybe. I'm not a professional in this, literally not at all. But these are just my thoughts. Let's move on. This is the other find from the second-hand website. This is 75% alpaca and 25% Finnish wool, and this is around DK weight. This wool is produced by Suvitien kotieläintila, which is a farm, and it is spun by Pirtin Kehräämö, and it is beautiful Finnish produce, and I am flabbergasted that someone actually wanted to sell these. I have a sweater quantity in this. I don't know if it, I just think that one of these, is this different color? I don't know. They say that they are all the same color, the beige, but I don't know if they actually are the same. But probably I should do a bit of striping. Or not, because I have an idea where I'm gonna use it. This will be a scrap yarn sweater called V-Main, which is from the 52 Weeks of Easy Knits. And it is designed by Veera Jussila. And it looks like this. So I got this second hand. This will be the base color. And I will use all of my tiny scraps also in it. And I'm just amazed that I can find this good quality yarn secondhand. It is amazing. And lastly, I am very excited. I need to tell you the project first. I saw this teddy vest from Sari Nordlund, and immediately when I saw it, I knew I needed to have it. It is wonderful. I love the idea and the name teddy vest. It's beautiful. And I was thinking that I don't want to use my 1 of 5 new garments, aka buying new yarn for the vest. So I started to look secondhand yarns, and this is what I found. It is a cone, and it was like, I don't know, €6, and there is around 580 grams. And I think this is fingering weight. It is very thin. And it is the boucle yarn. I'm so happy. I don't know how. It was some very good luck that this was there. And this will give me a teddy vest. I will have to probably use this triple to get the gauge, and the pattern even isn't out yet. It will come next month, but I will have the yarn ready for it. And the shade is actually very beautiful. It's like it's coming out a bit more yellow in the screen. This is actually really nice reddish brown. It has a lot of like pinkish undertones, and a bit like latte and a bit of pink. It's very hard to explain. One thing I have to mention, this is synthetic fibers. It would have been lovely to have it in wool, but I think this one might be still okay, even though it's synthetic. I wanted to save all this lovely boucle yarn, and me and synthetic fibers usually don't go very well together. I sweat very easily in them, but I think as a vest it might be okay. And this will be a lovely teddy vest. I'm so happy. And this is my first cone. I always admire knitting traditions and Crea Bea for having their beautiful cones, and now I have a cone, even though it is some plastic yarn, but it doesn't feel bad. I think there might be cotton in it. There is no mention about what yarn it is or anything, so I cannot figure it out, but I'm happy to have a boucle vest, and I'm so happy about this find that I actually managed to thrift this. I actually realized I have one more small bag of yarn there because I frogged a sweater to have yarn for the sporty knit skirt from Florence Miller. Is it Miller? I think. So that is that. I will probably do that too, but the yarn is there and I am here and I don't want to get up. And my husband will soon be here and say that they have been outside for too long. This is my stash, and I'm so excited to document this journey and see what this will be after a year of intentional knitting and minimal yarn purchases, or at least new yarn. And because you have been so awesome, I thought that I would host a giveaway. In this giveaway, you'll be able to win some Finnish handicraft, and there is 2 skeins of tukuwool sock yarn in this metsä or forest colorway, and then there is this 1 skein of hand-dyed yarn by Woolmy Ones. I'll also add in there some lovely trinkets and maybe some Finnish goodies as well. You can enter the giveaway by answering the following question, and there is also further instructions pinned in the top of the comment section. Tell me, what was your favorite yarn and why? Thanks for being here. I'm so happy to talk to you. I feel like this gave me a lot of energy, and hopefully we will see again very soon. Please leave a comment and subscribe and like the video, because that way you'll see more of my videos in the future, and maybe someone else can find my videos too. Have a lovely weekend and enjoy your knits. Bye!